Wow, 48 minutes of me talking. Let's have some questions. Rick identifies as creative. Yes, he does. Any questions? Any questions? You're all sleeping.
Justin, there might be some in the chat.
Uh-huh.
I think one of them was, is this a free version of the Claude or is this a paid one?
Yeah. Um, I use I use the paid. I recommend everybody to use paid. Don't use free. If you use free, you're just using models from a while ago. You're going to get governed on how much you can use the newer models. I do believe that the project functionality is available in the free version. You're just using like a playground version of the project's function versus the adult version.
How much is that
Kevin,
sub per month?
$20.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know, Justin, if you could show us an example of like you picked a random URL and saying, like how to run this type of prompt, with those particular files, to run. Did you upload all four? Did you upload just the project instructions?
Great question. So you all will get these files here. So, and when you get these, it'll be on a landing page, and it'll be clear with, click this, do this, do this. I'll have a little instruction pack for you, but prospect project or briefing, company briefing instructions. So you're going to take this document. It's everything I was showing you that sits over here in these instructions. You're going to copy this. See how this is the same file. This is the same copy that's in here. So you're gonna copy that. You're gonna put it in to the project instructions. And I should have said this at the top. ChatGPT, very same setup. Gemini, very same setup. Copilot, very similar setup, but it's all the same thing at the end of the day. Yeah, does that answer your question, Kevin?
Yep, thanks.
Cool. And then
I was going to ask about, do you feel like these different platforms are pulling away from each other? And do you have, are you a strict Claude guy or?
No, it's been the same as long as I've been publicly speaking for 7 months, 8 months now. They're just neck and neck all the time. Sometimes they take longer to catch up for specific things, but infinite, they all can do infinite things. And so if one tool does 100% of infinity and another tool does 80% of that infinity, it's still a lot. Like, I do prefer Claude. I was a heavy ChatGPT user. Took a while to transfer over to Claude. I know some of you are going through that. It's a whole, maybe we do a session on that. But also at the end of the day, I don't care what you use. I just care that you use a tool. So don't take me loving preferring Claude as the end all be all.
Justin, you shared an example of where you put in the instructions, which look more like a coder's language than just plain language. We're not coders, obviously. So is this something that we need to employ someone like yourself, or do we learn this on our own and, implement it ourselves?
Yeah, great question. I should have. I often do clarify. All right. There is a thing called HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. That is what websites are made out of. That's code, markup language. It's the key there. A MD file is a markdown language. So you have markup language is computer code, and you have markdown language is not computer code. And while it looks like it, it's not. So you see this hashtag here that sits in front of the word company briefing. All that hashtag is saying is to when you're in a MD file viewer, to just make that text really big. And when there's 2 little asterisks in front of it, make it bold. And when there's these 3 lines, just make a full line. I'm going to show you, right? This file is these project instructions. And I'm opening it in my Markdown file viewer that I downloaded for free, but I'm now going to open it with a text editor. And while yes, it does look like code, it's not. See if I can make this any bigger. And here we go. You see, it has a little bit of styling with hashtags and dashes, but it's very readable. And that's why it was created as a middle ground between a non-coding human and a computer, because a computer can read this very, very cleanly. I'll tell you the truth, when I ran you through this. I ran you through this scenario, this example of me asking question after question after question on purpose, so that you could then see the process of me then requesting project instructions and supporting files, so that it then just makes these. I'm going to be honest with you. When I do this, I barely read these things. I just gloss them over. Oh, look, and you see this is rendering it with a little bit prettier. I will come through here and kind of scan it and make sure that it was in the direction I want. And the reason that I just really scan these now is because it's so good. I just walked through all those questions and I said, okay, now formalize this process. The amount of instructions that it is written here is kind of absurd, but also kind of awesome. And so I'm going all in there to just say, yeah, there's some funky hashtags and asterisks in that copy. And yeah, there can be a lot of copy, but if you do it in this manner where you use AI to help you get better with AI, it's gonna write these things. And if you give it the proper context and instructions, it's gonna write them pretty well. And you're probably not gonna have to read all of these documents.
You had to put the instructions in yourself manually, right?
I then downloaded those files and I copied and pasted these into this box. And then here, this context file folder, I just upload. You just upload these supporting documents. You drag and drop them into here.
Okay, so you didn't do any manual coding yourself, say?
Not at all.
Just copy
No.
and paste. Okay.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
do you trust this output?
Do I trust this output?
The output that came in from what you asked it to, because you say you're scanning it, you're just kind of briefly looking through it because there's a ton of data there. You're not reading every little thing, so you're not proofreading. It's not what's the word for it, where it's kind of wandering off in its thoughts. But
yeah,
you trust the output before you create these for clients.
Well, I don't create these for clients. This is me. This is my workflow. Clients don't see these. This whole exercise was what I do for myself.
But the proposal is for the client, right? Ultimately, the client will see the proposal.
Yeah, of course I read the proposal. Yeah. But I think to try to answer your question a little bit, these instructions that have been created that I'm saying I don't read end to end to end to end to end. It's easier to skim something when you helped create it. When I give you these files later today or tomorrow, it's going to be hard for you to feel confident in just skimming them because you didn't make them, right? If you went and made your own Markdown files in the same way that I just did, you were in control of how those got created the entire process. And so when you go to read it and review it, it's going to be a lot easier for you'll still probably read it, but you're going to know what it's saying already because you created it. And so that's how I'm able to skim these massive sets of instructions because it all started, guess what? It all started on a napkin of me sketching out what I wanted to happen. And so then when I got to the next layer, it was really fast for me to say, yep, that looks good. Making this whole setup for you all last night was a couple of hours. When I build workflows for customers, when I get to that level, workflows can take days because of the level of scrutiny they're going through at that level. When it's material that's just for you, that's up to you how much you go into it. All right. You're welcome, Laura. Rose, you're welcome. Thanks, Rick. Any Let's see.
Justin, if I can jump in for just a second, Justin spent some time with me helping me understand the process. And the thing that I'll say is that you can use Claude to teach you what you need to do and when you need to do it. Justin showed me the formatting and basically how I could start. And I would get to the point where I'd ask it to create a file for me. And then I'd say, well, this isn't complete. I want you to add this to it as well. And it'll create a new Markdown file for me. I'll copy that file into the knowledge base so that it has that as the new updated file. And then when I create a prospect file, I say, what do I do with the information that you've given me right now so that you can use this later? And it says, copy this into wherever, create a Markdown file. I can modify this. I'll put it in here, and then I'll be able to access it whenever. And it literally will tell you, if you ask it, it'll tell you what you can do and what you should do as the next step. You don't need to be Justin's really gotten into a lot of detail here, which is wonderful. But I'll tell you that I spent an hour with him and I'm doing a similar thing what he's doing, but not in as much detail, because he gave me the basic foundation, and I'm brave enough to be able to turn to Claude and say, what do I do next? Tell me what this Markdown file should look like. Tell me what prompt I should use to be able to get this report. You can do that. And there is a prompt that I have for new prospects that I give it the name of the company, the URL, the name of the person I'm going to be talking to, the president of the company, who I got the lead from, and what the lead told me about the prospect. And it creates an entire introduction for me to that prospect so that I can use it for the discovery call. And you can create whatever initial file you want just by telling it what the information is that you want it to give to you. And it'll create a prompt for you so that you can be consistent and do the same thing over and over and over again.
I just created, before this call, a 38-page Mastering Claude workbook because I wanted to really understand it. And I just said, I'd like you to create a workbook for learning how to use Claude. Start with the beginner, intermediate, advanced. And it created this beautiful workbook that had, like assignments and things I can, go through. And then I told it that, I'm a very visual person. So I'd like some, illustrations, and it rewrote it. And I'm going through it now. It's great. And I just 2 prompts. And I have a 38-page Mastering Claude, a practical workbook.
Nice. All right. I know we're at the hour. I've got a little more time if people want to hang on and talk, but no pressure if people are bouncing.
Karen, although that's 2 prompts, do you mind sending out a link?
You're muted, Karen.
I'll give it to Justin, and then he can send it out because I don't know how to
you.
do that.
Yeah, Justin, and this was really informative. Thank you so much. Just
Welcome, Chris.
kind of seeing the practical things and, how it kind of gets, you intuitively prepare for every question they're going to ask, but this gives you that structure. And, then it's right there. And all you have to do is, scroll up. That's awesome.
Totally.
Okay.
And it's the creativity and the imagination part has to come in for everybody. If you're a commercial real estate broker, like I'm sure if you plugged an address in to the internet, you could get information about that physical property, right? And I'm not going to think to be looking for that because I'm not a commercial property real estate broker. But
Right.
whoever is that you got to think in that way.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. Thanks, Sam. All right, everybody. We will see you in the future.
Thanks, Justin.
Justin, will you be sending out those reports?
Yeah, for the companies that want their copy, I will. But I'm going to send out all the files and everything. It'll take me about a day to put it together. But everybody will get the recording and everything.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a
welcome.
great day. Great job.
You too, Victoria.
Great job.
Thank you.
Always.
Bye.
All right. Bye.